Again, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's just a pleasure. I'm just yeah, no, it's in line with my personal mission statement as well as it's what we do. Is to bring culture and art and education. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather.
Yeah.
We're trying to make something real.
Yep.
Yeah. That would be your camera.
Okay.
I see it. Good afternoon. It's 2 o'clock. As you know, you're watching 30 frames a second. For those of you who are regular viewers, for those of you who aren't, you're watching the black guy in a suit. That has to be a lot of fun. For those who are regular watchers, you know that we are going to have the second annual People's Film Festival. Wow, and I'm the director of finance, but I'm old, so sometimes I become my grandmother. But we're going to have the second annual People's Film Festival is coming up. It starts day after tomorrow at the Magic Johnson Theater. We're going to premiere the film Toussaint Louverture at the Magic Johnson Theater. And then we'll be moving to Maisels Theater, which is a classic location that is just fundamental to the community. So we'll be in the Harlem community, and we'll be talking about that. And it is my extraordinary good luck to be able to bring to you one of the producers of one of the films that will be airing at the People's Film Festival. And we're going to talk to that gentleman. His name is Rich Mckeown. And he's going to premiere a film that he did. It's called American Beatboxer. It's just awesome. I was checking it out, and when the boss of all bosses, Veronica Kitt, gets here, we'll at some time cue the trailer up, hopefully, and you'll be able to see some of it. It's awesome. It hits you on a number of different levels. With that, if Richie is, he reads my mind. Where the victim is now the perpetrator and the perpetrator is now the victim. And that just drives me crazy. All right, we are back. And again, you're watching 30 frames a second, and it is my privilege to introduce to you Rich Mckeown, producer, musician, entrepreneur extraordinary, teacher.
Thanks for having me.
Somebody that even my mother would love, and she never loved any of her children. How did you get started in this? You were telling me in 2005 you...
Yeah, in 2005 I started Cool Kids Television and Publishing. And as I said, the platform was bringing positive images to black children, because when we went to school, we didn't read books, picture books, and hear stories about us, except slavery.
Right.
Okay. And it's also bringing original artwork.
And we were happy then.
And bringing original artwork and bringing original music to the fore. Because that's always the first budget cut, right? Music and art, and that's one of the key ways of children or anybody expressing themselves. So that's what Cool Kids started, and in the process of building that company and doing more projects, this wonderful opportunity came for me and my director, Manavasco Kubal, and we got a chance to shoot the first American Beatbox Championship in Brooklyn in July of 2010.
Nice,
and we finally get it to let everybody see it, so we're really excited about that.
Nice. Now, you were talking about music and art, and that is generally the first thing that is like axed in an educational budget. which is counterproductive, it seems, unless you're trying to produce something other than what I think you should be producing, which is a well-rounded and intelligent human being who is able to seek out their goals and their dreams. We like to say, I've said it often myself, that math is art and art is math. That you cannot play a piano if you don't understand math.
Music is mathematics,
you know,
period.
And you cannot design a shopping mall if you don't understand art. The two are ingrained. You can't have one with the other and build a world, build a civilization.
You're absolutely right.
And most artistic people are not only intuitive, they are also quite bright for the most part, you know. And it seems to me that that a civilization who gives so much credence to Shakespeare and Michelangelo, you know, and say what you want about the Koch brothers, they spend millions of dollars on major art institutions. It would seem like those same people would understand the necessity for art and culture in terms of the education of our children.
Art and music is culture. It's the direct reflection of the culture.
Right.
And so by suppressing that or getting rid of it, I mean, it's just like shooting yourself in the foot.
Right.
You know.
Right. So you're a father, right?
Yes, I have two sons.
Yeah.
And actually, my sons were the inspiration of Cool Kids, because the first piece I did was a hip hop song that I eventually brought to screen as a music video for them, from a character I made up, but entertained them, a little character called Kung Fu Lee. That was the start of Cool Kids.
Now start at the beginning. How did you end up? Tell me the metamorphosis, the birth of that first music video.
Okay, actually, it was a little song when I used to get my kids have for the weekend, and you know, I had the recording studio there. They always know me playing the guitar and bass, and one day I started making up this little ditty called Kung Fu Lee, and it was a freestyle. But every time they came over, within the first hour, I had to do it. So, make a long story short, I did the whole hip hop track, recorded it, and put it on a cassette tape. For those who still remember what cassette tapes are.
I remember.
And they took it home, and I got a call from their mother saying, "What did you just do there? There was a song you wrote there, karate chopping and kicking." So anyway, I decided years later to do one of those picture books, you know.
Oh, cool.
But what I found, my skill set was actually natural. As a producer, it just made sense to do a DVD. And it was, and since I was laying out my own money to do it, it was actually more cost effective to create a DVD than a book, and then stockpiling books and versus stockpiling DVDs. And let's face it, the kids today, they're in front of a screen. Whether it's a big screen, phone, laptop.
That is true.
So I figured, let me bring it to them, because in all of my pieces, yes, it's a story, but there's also the option to put a caption. So for those who are learning to read, they can read along with the story, and the very little ones can just watch it. So it was original artwork by the first piece was a young student fresh out of school. My second piece, my mother's retired art teacher, she did the artwork on that. And another piece was independently produced a Yoruba tale called The Bar and the Merchants that I produced a screen. Actually, in 2008, that won Best Animation, the Hollywood Black Film Festival, and the Kids First Film Festival, which is the largest children's film festival in the world.
How did Cool Kids come to be noticed by H2O?
From the very first piece, Kung Fu Lee, the director, Manavaskar Kublal, was working along with the H2O program with Martha Diaz. He told her about the project. She saw it, loved it, and put it in. I mean, I had nothing to do with that. And, you know, that was just providence.
Nice. Now, fast forward to American Beatbox. American Beatbox, when rap started out, rap was very, it was different. It was completely young. It was an aberration to what old folks thought was music, you know. But it was not thought of as some vile, belligerent, anti-cultural art form. Today, if you say the word rap, if you say any word that has anything to do with rap or hip hop, which is totally different, that's the culture itself, it brings these connotations. And you did this. Now you're a musician. You're like
well.
bass guitar. And you do a film that is about a huge aspect of hip hop culture, but it is completely different from the stereotype that we have come to expect when we think of hip hop culture. And it actually works on a number of levels. It works. It works as a family film. It works as a cultural film. It works as a film of young people doing extraordinary things, and they're intelligent and they're bright. And how did the musician? And I just got to sign the trailer is ready. So we'll go to that in a bit. But I'm going to get to my question. This is my show.
That's right.
How did someone who plays guitar and bass think to go in that direction? What led you in a direction that is completely aberrant from what most people think of when they hear the word hip hop? And what circumstance, this is a long question, but what circumstances presented themselves so that it became what it is? I'm sure there was a certain amount of serendipity to it.
Actually, how the project fell into my lap, which it literally did. A gentleman by the name of Mckeown Kublal is the director of all of the Cool Kids short films.
You've been working with him. You said his name quite a bit.
Since 2005. Since 2005, we've become very good friends and partners in producing film. So he produced my short films for Cool Kids. After that, I wind up scoring some of his documentaries, the music for his documentaries. And then a gentleman by the name of Chesney Snow, who's co-founder of the American Beatbox Championship, and a friend of his asked him to direct the first American Beatbox Championship. And Mckeown called me and says, look, I got this gig, I would like for you to be the producer. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, beatboxing is the fifth element of hip hop, but the neglected element of hip hop. I mean, everybody knows about graffiti, the graffiti artists, the break dancers, the MCs, and the DJs. But beatboxing was an integral part of that. But for some reason, it kind of waned over here. Meanwhile, across the seas, which is one of the storylines within the film, it's blown up. I mean, there's been 3 or 4 world championships now. Each country has its own championship. In the UK, I don't know about now, but a few years back, if the UK beatboxing champion won a car, the Vauxhall car.
Oh, dynamite!
And it's just this weird thing that's been going on for years, in that our culture is more embraced abroad than it is here. Just like jazz. I mean, jazz, hip-hop culture. I mean, the best break dancers are in like Asia, and some of the best DJs are in Germany. I mean,
everyone else seems to appreciate and gravitate toward African culture in general. But African American culture, specifically the art, all over the world. I mean, they know more about jazz in Japan than we know in Chicago.
You're right.
And
You're right.
It's very, very disconcerting. I try to figure out what's up with that. As best I can see is that. I don't know, maybe it's some sort of joy degree post-traumatic problem where we just don't appreciate the beauty in ourselves. We're always looking, and everyone else can see it but us. I'm not even sure what.
Sometimes I wonder myself, I know what, sometimes what I think, what other people say is a part of it. We're just so much in that instant gratification. All right, that's hot, what's next? We don't sit down and learn and then pass along.
In all fairness, and we're going to get to the trailer. I'm digressing, but it's an hour show, and this is a brilliant young man. In all fairness, when I look at say white artists, I can turn on to the video show on Saturday, and I'll see all sorts of different artists, and they're all performing different art forms. You know, someone as young as a Taylor Swift, you know, or a Hunter Hayes has no problem with playing and performing with a Willie Nelson, you know, or a Dolly Parton. You know, when you look at it, you see rock musicians, you see white hip hop musicians, you might see some black. You know, we seem to, when you look at video demonstrations by us, we seem to shy away from anyone who is not in a specific age group doing a specific kind of music at a specific point in time, and everyone else embraces, you know, the whole aspect. Certainly, Michael Bublé is nothing like Demi Lovato, you know, but you'll see them all in the same place presenting their music, and it's accepted. The cultural differences, you'll see country musicians, you know. And I wonder how, you know.
I don't know what it is. It always seems like the media, the industry itself, always wants to put us in our little container. Remember back in the day when with the Academy, the Grammys, gospel music was gospel music.
Right.
But all of a sudden, for black gospel entertainers, all of a sudden we became gospel soul.
And
now and everybody else became gospel. You know, even back in the 50s, you know, we were doing the R&B, but we were all of a sudden we were doing race records, and everybody else got to do our stuff. And part of what you don't know about me, I used to be a royalty manager and royalty director for record companies, HBO. So I've seen people come looking for contracts, record deals, as inspirational hip hop artists or as educational or whatever. But like, no, we're not looking for that. So they had to come reinvent themselves, and now all of a sudden they're Street Daddy 5 or
you know,
the Killer Crew, you know.
And I look and you know, like the black kids, they're two white boys playing blues and whatnot. You know, we invented the blues. We can't make no money playing the blues. You know,
we got to go to Europe.
Abroad, we got to go abroad. You know, you look at Adele. That's a big girl singing basically soul music. You know, we ain't allowed
Justin
to produce
Timberlake's
Justin Timberlake, and he's like old school R&B. You know,
so we need Justin Timberlake to bring back R&B. I mean,
right. You know, it's very disconcerting. You know. But with that, we're going to come back to that, and we're going to come back to a few things. We want to. They found the trailer. These guys are geniuses back there. I mean, you know, and that's why I look so good. But whenever they're ready, they can cue up the trailer, and we're going to look at the trailer for American Beatbox, which will premiere at the People's Film Festival. Veronica Kitt is here, the Grand Master of the machine.
Sanitize your microphone because it could be a little risky. Come on.
It's spread across the world, but yet at home, it's still looked at as non-existent. People don't know about it. I mean, people know Rozelle, you know, they know Scratch, they know Dougie Fresh, you know, but they don't really know that this is an art form that has a whole subculture behind it.
You got some synth sounds. You got some deep bass sounds. Clap snare. Bass drum or just kick drum. Hi-hat. Scratches. Stuff like that.
Are you going to be here for the battles tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm battling in that. Everyone sees me as a white person, white little girl, oh, she can't do that, but once like they actually hear me beatbox, they're like,
So I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, raised in Haiti. So that's why I have a little accent though. That's where it's from.
I've been been beatboxing for too many years, more than I really want to count right now. I'm not gonna let you know how old I am up in this piece, you know what I'm saying? Let's just suffice to say since I was like around 12 years old, and I'm a grown man now.
People always ask me when I started beatboxing, and you know how babies make noises when they're little? I just never stopped making noises. I didn't know beatbox from anything. I was not part of a hip-hop world or anything like that. I wasn't really introduced to hip-hop style beatboxing until maybe 10 years ago. I didn't really know much about it.
Family is important, and I think it drives my beatboxing and helps me, you know, continue to push my beatboxing to the next level. I mean, my dad even came here. I mean, come over here, Dad. He came here, and I mean, why'd you come? Why'd you come here?
Well, I came because I'm worried about you.
Yeah.
It's a new team for you, and I'm in, you know, I don't know New York, first time here, and I'm just worried about you. So, and I want to make sure you're safe. If everything's fine, maybe next time you come by yourself.
Yeah.
Take that! This is what you get for trying to battle me. I'll take you out right now. Hello? Hello? Hey. What's up? I'm trying to battle. What? Hold on.
The final four contestants in the first American Beatbox Championships are...
Whoa! I think we're back. Yeah, that's an extraordinary film. That and it like it like they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. You know, well, a film got to be it's like worth a million pictures. We were talking about everything that we were talking about prior to showing the trailer was manifested in your film. How universal black culture is, how accepted it is by other cultures, how it hits you on an educational level, it hits you on a familial level.
We were raised with hip hop.
The young man's father came with him, which shows you, and we were talking about this last week, it shows you how important it is for us as parents to encourage and support our children, you know, a whole community when their efforts are like to do stuff, you know. It is an extraordinary film. Before I get back to him and just pick his brain and whatnot, because I neglect stuff. It is the People's Film Festival. Opening night, we're going to show a film by the filmmaker Philippe Niang. The film is Toussaint Louverture, also a dynamite film. Veronica went out. I mean, we've had some extraordinary people really contact us with some exceptional stuff. You know, I'm kind of jealous because I do this kind of thing, and you know. Toussaint Louverture premieres at the Magic Johnson Theater Thursday, May 30th at 6 p.m. Magic Johnson Theater, May 30th, that's day after tomorrow, 6 p.m. That's 2309 Frederick Douglass Boulevard. That's
it's
8th Avenue, 124th Street.
Right on the corner of 124th Street.
Right. 8th Avenue, 124th Street. You can remember that. You know, the subway take you there. It's Harlem, so you can get there. You can get there by airplane. You can get there. It's almost sold out. So it is an extraordinary venture. Your film, after that, we're going to take our show to Maisels, June 1st and June 2nd, and your film premieres at Maisels.
Yeah, it's on Saturday, that's June 1st. It will, the segment that it's in starts at 9:30. My film actually is preceded by a shorter tribute to a graffiti artist legend, and then it's the beatboxing film. So we screen at 9:45. So definitely come on through. You'll have a great time.
All right. Veronica, you standing over there. They can't hear you, but I can hear you. I need help. What time does the People's Film Festival kick off at Maisels?
Friday.
No, time.
6 p.m. Friday.
6 p.m. Friday. 6 p.m. Friday. That's the 31st, so it's the 31st, the 1st, and the 2nd. So it's it's from Thursday to Sunday. You know, Thursday, Magic Johnson, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Maisels. It's going to be an exceptional night. We have some extraordinary people, some people who other people consider great and small, all doing exceptional work. So if you're critiquing the work, there are no small contributors. I am pleased as punch. Now, tell us about how did you get in contact with Rodrigo Borgia, better known as Veronica Kit.
Rodrigo Borgia is hilarious. Actually, I think the way it happened is I have two good buddies that have been really helping us out with the marketing of the film. And when we were pushing at its first, this is the first film festival that's screening, but the first screening was at the Schomburg Research Center.
Excellent.
So that's where we had our world premiere. Martha Diaz, like I said, she curated that. She saw the trailer and she wanted the world premiere there. So I believe during those email blasts, Mike reached out to me. I don't know if Mike or Verona reached out to me and asked if we wanted to participate in the film festival. And I said, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They are. I am just so fortunate to be affiliated with some hard hustling people who are just committed to the work that they do and produce such extraordinary work.
Yeah, and they have some great films in this film festival. I saw when we did a test screening of my film, I saw little clips of some of the other artists that have brought their work there. It's going to be an awesome, awesome event. I'm really excited. I'm going to be at the opening on Thursday, and of course I'll be there Saturday, and probably a little early. Check out some more films as well. But no, I'm really excited about it. I'm more excited about it that it's local. I'm excited the fact that the first and second screening is in Harlem. You know, now we want to take it to the Bronx. I mean, because we're getting ready to hit the film festivals. We already got requests from San Francisco Black Film Festival, the Hollywood Black Film Festival. But hip hop is here. The birthplace was in the Bronx, Uptown, in Queens. New York is the birthplace. So I want to get as many people in the area to see it.
I'm going to ask you some questions as a producer. First of all, how long did it take you from start to finish to complete your this particular project?
We shot the whole event. It was a weekend, the last weekend of July of 2010. It was not only the first American Beatbox Championship, but it was the BoxCon event. That's what's called the BoxCon events like this, Comic-Con and all these other different conventions that are national and international. So BoxCon is an international event, just like beatboxing is a international event. And even when you saw the American beatbox, you saw you saw Latinos, you saw Caucasian, you saw Black. They were from East Coast, West Coast, North, South. It was great. It was great. And we had people coming from Canada, from UK, from France.
That is so important. I don't want people to like gloss over what he just said, because you see this with your own eyes. It's one thing for me to tell you, you know, the 1,000 words theory. It's one thing for me to tell you this international and the different cultures like embrace what is birthed right here at home, you know. It's another thing to see it with your own eyes and to see the beauty and the love and the dedication and
that's what it was. And that's what, you know, as a musician and as a filmmaker, you know, going to the different festivals, I found the beatboxing community to be one of the most tightly knit, positive, nurturing groups I've ever seen. I mean, there can be, you know, there can be Rozelle, the godfather of noise, Kenny Muhammad, and some kid from the Midwest who just started spitting all over the mic, literally. and they're embraced and they're encouraged. Even after the battles, during the championship, stuff about hugs. You saw them backstage, and they were like buddies.
Yeah,
and the international community is the same way, because through internet platforms like the American Beatbox Championships and HumanBeatbox.com, people can learn techniques and interact and build relationships online with people all over the world. And so, while we were shooting, we're seeing these people walk over to each other, and they knew who knew who they were from the internet interactions, and just built further onto their relationships. But
so I kind of digress from my original question. How long did it take?
Oh, I'm sorry, that was my fault.
No, you were good. You were good. I was bad.
So we shot in 2010, and a little over 2.5 years later, we finished the movie. As you saw in the trailer, it was supposed to come out in 2011, but we did this on a shoestring budget.
How did you finance?
Manny rented some of the equipment with a credit card, and I used some of my business credit card.
What kind of equipment did you use?
We used one Panasonic and one Sony HD camera. But don't ask me the miles, because it was 2.5 years ago. I don't even remember right now. But there were 2 HD cameras, a few lavalier mics. We had one camera on the lift that shot most of the show. And
how did you learn this stuff?
Well, as a musician, the audio part was innate. So Manny directed where the camera's supposed to be and the shots. I took care of the audio, and then I was also doing the interviews. So most of the people that you're talking are talking to me off the side while Manny's doing the shooting. And over time, we just went over the film and pieced it together, put together the story that we thought we knew going in, but actually just learned so much more about the culture.
Documentary is so much capturing a moment. It's far more being receptive to what presents itself than it is to even storyboarding. You come out with this idea, and then circumstances take you in a whole...
The stories within stories. And one of the blessings of it taking as long as I wanted it to take, we found and delved more into another story, and that's beatboxing being used as speech therapy. And the November of 2012, we shot Chesney Snow outside of Lavelle School of the Blind.
Beautiful.
Where he and Beat NYC, which I have to big up, James Kim, Taylor McFerrin, Bobby McFerrin's son, I have to big them up for the outstanding work that they're doing.
I can dig how they gravitate to it.
Yeah, Beat NYC. Really Beat NYC stands for Bridging Education and Art Together. And through hip-hop culture, they're going to the schools in New York, the underprivileged schools in New York, bringing art through graffiti, breakdancing, dancing through breakdancing, b-boying, and the beatboxings at the Lavelle School of the Blind.
How long is this film?
The film is 84 minutes long.
Is this your first feature? Because you mentioned shorts before.
Yeah, this is our first feature together. Basically, most of our films have been shorts, or definitely under an hour. I think one of his films are almost an hour, but this is our first feature documentary.
Did you had you developed a promotion strategy while you were doing it, or did that develop later on? How did you promote the film? How did you figure out how to promote the film?
I do have a background in sales, so I'm always thinking. Even through when we were shooting it, because I was a cameraman as well. So and when I saw the audience, and when I saw just the scope and the magic of what we were seeing, the first thing was just really doing our grassroots promotion via email blasts to get people in the theaters and getting awareness out. And
who did they pitch it to at the Schomburg? Did they pitch it to Khalil?
No, as I said before,
because he would be really receptive to this.
Actually, it was Maria.
He's perfect.
It was Martha Diaz. It was Martha Diaz. Like I said, when I found out that she founded the Hip Hop Education Center, that was sponsored by NYU, and now it's based out of the Schomburg Library, and I wanted to know if she would be interested in having Kung Fu Lee, my hip hop short, the music video, as a part of the collection. And she said, sure. And then I sent her the trailer, of the documentary, and she lost her mind and asked if she, we could do the world premiere at the
I mean,
Schomburg, and of course I said yes.
It's infectious, and I could really see, especially the new management. There was a lot of controversy because the previous management had done some exceptional things and whatnot, and they were kind of worried about the direction it was going to take. And in comes this brilliant young brother who is as visionary as anyone, and it's good to see that you can immediately see the inception of a brilliant young mind who is in touch with his history and his tradition taking place. So it makes perfect sense that they would see something like this and go, oh, that's fly.
And what was also cool in that, the night before the event before, the Cornell University curators of the Cornell Hip Hop collection, which is the largest in the world, they spent an extra night to see our film, and they want us to come and screen it at Cornell.
Now, we're gonna in a few minutes we're gonna open up the phone lines. But before we open up the phone lines, if they have it ready, we want to show you the trailer for the People's Film Festival, because I open up the phone lines, I might not get a chance to show the trailer, then I would have to live here for the rest of my life. So, whenever you guys are prepared to show it, you can just run it and I'll shut up.
Check out some of the hottest films in alternative media.
This is a love story. A 25,000-mile love story.
This is a story about Africa's relationship with the world, told from the point of view of those who lived it and those who led the fight for change.
Avec le premier consul, il est l'homme le plus extraordinaire que j'ai rencontré. Force étrange, c'est pareil.
There is nobody that I know of who has developed a technique on the violin like him.
I'm not running nowhere. This is all I have.
The bullets that still lodge in our bodies and the injuries that me and my friend Danny, Rayshawn, and Keyshawn sustained mentally and physically will prevent us from playing the game that we love the most.
6 girls from an inner city school are starting a journey to find out about justice. They're going to the crossroads of Europe, to Bosnia, to meet people who survived the brutalities of a vicious civil war.
Don't have justice. It's only on paper.
I have a little proposition for you, Joe.
Some so selling to come to me now, don't?
We know there's more you want.
Choose no.
Come on.
It's spread across the world, but yet at home, it's still looked at as non-existent. People don't know about it. I mean, people know Rozelle, they know Scratch, they know Dougie Fresh, but they don't really know that this is an art form that has a whole subculture behind it.
For the sake of brevity, to delve into the ultimate why. Is the sky blue?
Yes.
The People's Film Festival, celebrating the power of the media when placed in the hands of the people.
Oh my
Fort
goodness.
Illness Foundation.
I am just so proud to be a part of this. In case anyone was wondering what the heck the People's Film Festival was, if they had any preconceived notions, I hope that we have dispelled them totally. When we say it is the People's Film Festival, that's exactly what we mean. And you can see the universality of the people. You can see the different cultures come to play, the different stories. Presenting our stories is actually my personal dream come true, and to see it manifest in this way is just a dream come true for me. One little post note I want to mention. We kick off at the Magic Johnson Theater with the film Toussaint Louverture, and we were talking about the Schomburg. Well. We have Khalil Gibran Muhammad, who is a tremendous author in his own right. One day we're going to get him on here and he's going to talk about his book, which is a tremendous, tremendous book. He's going to have closing remarks on that. So it's going to be star-studded. We're hoping to see someone from Senator Perkins' office there, some of his staff. You know, they certainly invited. They have been an exceptional asset to the African American community, their own community, the community they represent. So we're hoping that they'll be there. With that, if you want to, you can put up the phone number. I don't know if you put up the phone number. People can have a chance. We're going to be running out of time in a little while. And until they get the phone number, get the call, I'm going to ask you. We have so many stories being told. And at the root of everything you do, whether it's music or writing novels or writing nonfiction or doing a talk show like this, it's all about the art of telling stories.
Absolutely.
Did you know what story you wanted to tell at the inception? Did it change? Did it?
We knew what story we thought we wanted to tell.
Nice way of putting it.
We knew we wanted to tell the story of beatboxing being the fifth element of hip hop, the neglected element of hip hop. We knew we wanted to tell the story of, you know, why is something another art form that's developed here in the country and not appreciated, but flourishing abroad. And of course, we want to tell the stories of the 8 finalists of the American Beatbox Championship.
Nice.
You know, but again, the other stories were the stories of dedication, the stories of expressing yourself, the stories of the different champions throughout the world that came down and converged, and how they embraced the newbies, as well as beatboxing is not only is it, you know, an art form, it's also a way that you can make a living. One of the finalists, Heaven, his name is.
Excuse me. We have a call. We have a couple of callers. I'm going to take the call. I'm just going to let him finish this note. I don't want you to think that we're just ignoring you, because I know you have some questions, and we're really going to get you in. Finish your thought. If I didn't interrupt you so bad that I just blew your train of thought.
That's okay. Stephen Cantor, one of the finalists. This guy beatboxes and makes a living. He performs every day of the week. And then you have what I found to be one of the most powerful stories is beatboxing as therapy, as a form of speech therapy. Chesney Snow, Beat NYC, the gentleman from that organization, has actually helped kids that have never even uttered a sound speak their first words or first sound in public. Through the art of beatboxing. They've given them an avenue of expression. That's one of the things that people don't really appreciate and understand, the power of expression. All right, let me shut up.
If they're ready, they can see if we can put a call through. Hello, caller. If you're there, we can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you also, my brother. And thank you for accepting my call. It's from Brother Omar calling from the Big Mango here in Harlem. I find this book very interesting, and I don't know if you know this, but we're celebrating the 87th birthday of the great Miles Davis. Miles Dewey Davis, who made his transition in 1991 in September So I'm playing most of his tapes and his cassettes and CDs. I'm listening to this brother, and I don't know if he's familiar with this CD that came out in 1992. It's called Doo-Bop. And Miles, okay, Miles did it with Easy Mo B. And some of that music, when you're talking about fusing jazz with bebop and hip-hop and this, that, and the other, I think Miles was one of the first jazz musicians to experiment with this.
Yeah.
In my opinion, in my humble opinion, I think this is a great CD. It came out in 1992. And I want to ask the brother this. First of all, you familiar with his work? Second of all, when can we see and where can we see your film? Is it going to be here in the Schoenberg? Because I live right around the corner from the Schoenberg, so I can easily bring a busload of people there.
It's going to be at Maisels.
Where can we see your work?
Yeah, to answer the second question first, June 1st at the Maisels Theater, I think it's 353 Lenox Boulevard between 127th and 128th Street. So definitely come down where our segment is at 9:30.
9:30 in the evening?
In the evening, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, in the evening.
Yeah.
So to answer your second question, I'm very familiar with Miles Davis. I mean, he is the godfather of fusion. I mean, when I was younger, I saw all of the Offspring bands, Weather Report, Shakti, Return Forever.
Bitches Brew was the master
that's what started it all, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's almost insincere to just refer to Miles as godfather of fusion. Miles was sweet. I mean, he could be sweet, he could be powerful. He could go from Green Dolphin Street, which is just sweet as sugar, to Bitches Brew, which is just cold-blooded.
We'll be celebrating Miles, and we'll be seeing you guys in the theater.
All right, thank you. Again, his film debuts at Maisels Theater June 1st at
9:30.
The whole thing opens up at 6 o'clock. You should get there at 6 and check it out. All
there
that. We have another caller, I believe. If we have another call, hey, how you doing, brother?
Hey, brother Nat.
Yes, sir.
Once again, you've done your thing, brother.
Brother, I'm
also,
blessed.
you know, I was watching the excerpts from the brother's documentary, and you know, and I was sitting here thinking, you know, like I'm like a few years coming up on 50, and so I actually watched what they call hip hop from its infancy, you know, and I was just curious, like, as a suggestion, maybe your next project should be, where did the term hip hop come from? Because, you know, like, as a kid, I remember, like, about, like, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we used to see the local DJs and their crew with the turntables and the records and whatnot come to the park. And the first thing that came out spread around the neighborhood is they're jamming. They're getting ready to jam. There wasn't no hip-hop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There wasn't no such thing as hip-hop. So, you know, I always wondered, where did the word hip-hop come from? In fact, if I remember correctly, hip-hop used to be a line in one of the rhymes of a particular MC. You know what I'm saying? And, like, you know, where now they got gangster. Back in the days, it used to be hard rock. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's like, it amazes me how, you know, people run around with hip-hop and rap like it was something that was, you know, this form of music was that from the get-go, when in fact it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just, you know, like, it's amazing how the black culture, it seems like what we do, how can I clean it up? It's like we deprecate these certain things and then we leave it and other people take up our stuff and do what they want with it and whatnot. And it just amazes me that I now see, you know, the transition of things. I just feel like a stranger in my own. I can't even explain it, but if you can, your next project should be, where did the word hip hop come from?
Yeah.
The terminology.
All right. Thank you, but we're gonna give him a chance to close out. DJ Lord Yoda was on the show, and from the original Crash Crew, you know. He brought hip hop. He didn't explain where the word came from. I'm not, I didn't have the brains to ask him or even think of it. Now he comes in, he makes me feel like a total idiot. We're gonna take another call, but he took us back to a time where the culture of hip hop, or the culture of the streets, where these kids came together and everybody was like designated to carry all this crap. They even like, EC for equipment carrier and stuff like that. So we're gonna get into that, and maybe you should think about that. But we're gonna take a call. If we have a call, put the call through.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing, caller?
Hey, great show. Nice suit, Mr. Wood.
Thank you, brother.
Question for Mr. Mckeown, if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yes, you are. Thanks a lot.
When you guys decided to capture, this particular contest, how did you guys decide to? Because I'm sure you had a lot of footage. How did you decide to weave the story? Because it's difficult to do that.
And you're right. And,
that is a good question.
And that took, like I said, you go in with an idea that you think is a story or stories, and it just blossoms into so much more. And that was really what the first year was about in crafting.
How much footage did you accumulate?
We shot the whole weekend. So we had we shot Friday evening, Saturday all day from noon to 1 a.m. in the morning, and then Sunday from about noon to say 7 p.m.
Right.
And then there's the additional footage that we shot that we got from the Lavelle School of Blind through Beat NYC, and then the final interview with Chesney Snow.
I got one quick statement. One quick statement. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah. One thing people say, there's 4 elements of so-called hip hop. Because I heard the other caller. Hip hop, I think, was from when Starsky was going hip hop to hippie before it even got on wax. So somebody took that term and just let it go, because it's just like breakdancing was up rock in the Bronx and then it changed. But the 4 elements of hip hop: graffiti, rapping,
DJing, and MCing.
The 5th element should be beatboxing.
It is,
because
and
it's the oldest instrument, the oldest human instrument, which is making sound. And then when you didn't have turntables, which they're still expensive, believe it or not, well, nobody uses them anyway, but you made your sound. You was in the house with your my age was the cassette, the 30-minute, 15 on one side, each side cassette tape, and you made your sounds because you're using the recorder there. So, that 5th element, it also needs to be taught. And let me know also if you guys are doing anything in the education realm to spread the knowledge of, hip hop and beatboxing. Thank you.
And there should be 2 more elements: the park and the street light. Because the park was the stage and the street light was the power.
That's right. In every borough. In every borough.
Right.
No. Actually, to answer last question about the education part. Beat NYC, that's the organization that taught at the Lavelle School of Blind, and that we do have reflected in the movie. That's one organization that is actually going into the schools and teaching some of the elements of. Actually, I would like for that to be one of my next documentaries, actually showing their great work and the inspiration that they're giving to the kids. And
I also want you to know how much I appreciate the fact that you have given me an opportunity to be proud of our kids. A lot of times we argue with them, we cuss them out, why ain't you more, like Jesus? I see these faces, I see the family, I see the unity, the love, the camaraderie, I see the art,
it really is amazing.
And I don't think I could ask much more of my kids than to be healthy and happy and doing what they love, and so I'm very, very proud of not just the extraordinary work that you've done, but I'm proud of the fact that you have enabled us to see ourselves in a way that we don't often get a chance to see ourselves anymore. You know. Do you have a next project, or are you just basking in the glow?
Well, obviously, this is the baby that's just been born, and we're going to be nurturing it for a minute. But no, there are a few projects.
So you're just working on this teeth right
on
now.
the side. Exactly. Beat NYC is definitely a story that I want to bring to the fore. And there's a few others that we have, but right now it's all about American beatboxing.
Nice. Right. I like it. Yeah, it's a film, not a rabbit. You know. Let's get through this one. Your company,
Cool Kids Television and Publishing.
Cool Kids Television. Do you have anything on the burner separate and apart from the film? Or,
what will be coming, there are two projects that will be coming, the sequel to Kung Fu Lee. Actually, I have a student just started college. He's going to be animating that music video. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about bringing young, talented kids into Cool Kids Television Publishing and giving them a voice and allowing them to express themselves. There is a single that we're going to be recording with actually Chesney Snow. We're incorporating beatboxing into my first single, but it's also going to tie in. It ties into both of our platforms because the director, Manavasca Kublal, our co-exec director, Chesney Snow, we all have a teaching platform.
Now, we're coming up on a minute left in the show, and we talked about the People's Film Festival. Again, we showed in the trailer, it starts the 30th, it's the 30th, the 31st, the 1st and the 2nd, the 30th is Toussaint Louverture at Magic Johnson Theater starting at 6 o'clock. After that, we move to Maisels Theater, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, kicking off at 6 p.m. We have a minute left. I want you to let everyone know how they can get in touch with you about any project that you are involved in, because I'm sure that there's a lot of people who would like to bring their skills and,
you can contact me several ways, through the website, through the contact page, and that's coolkidspublishing.com. That's KOOLKIDZ publishing.com. Or you can contact me by email, and that's coolkidspub@gmail. And that's KOOLKIDZPUB@gmail. Those are the best ways to get in contact with me.
Rich Mckeown, it has been an extraordinary pleasure. Don't forget the People's Film Festival. I'm going to say it over and over again. We expect it to be an incredible event. We have about a minute left. So again, we're opening up with Toussaint Louverture. You can start running that music if you want to. The closing music. It has been my extraordinary good fortune to be able to present to you, people like Rich Mckeown and talk about the People's Film Festival and work with Veronica Kitt on the People's Film Festival. At some time in the future, we're also going to be showing at least some sort of excerpts from the thing we did for Elambe Brath, to show you that we are dedicated to the community. With that, we hope to see you this weekend. We're going to be awarding Camille Yarber with the Spirit of the People Award, which is extraordinary. Got about 10 seconds to say thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Peace, we out. Wow, that was close.